ATF division, along with partners at the IRS, DEA, and Homeland Security, announced today that they put a stop to a guns for drugs trafficking scheme. They say guns went from Louisville to Mexico and that cocaine came back to the city in return. Ian Hardwood explains how it all started with an LMPD investigation into a shooting.
There's a war going on in Mexico, and these are outfitting those troops, right? Those cartels, those terrorist members.
Assault rifles, shotguns, handguns.
The tentacles of these terrorist organizations stretch across the U.S.
A stunning haul off the streets of Louisville. ATF Special Agent in Charge John Noakes said 14 people were indicted for trafficking these guns, nearly 60 guns in total. They were either bought or stolen in Louisville and bound for Mexico. Those purchases, he said, were straw purchases, which means the guns were bought legally but given away illegally to non-citizens.
You know, the firearm culture here is a little more lax than some places. So it's easier for certain cartel members and straws to go and get their hands on firearms. They're more readily accessible, and then they're transferred to the illegal, the crime element.
In exchange, cocaine was brought back into the city, says DEA Louisville Special Agent in Charge Jim Scott.
To date, this investigation has led to the seizure of 62 kilograms of cocaine. And because we worked together, we were able to identify the entire organization and dismantle it.
They worked under a federal organized crime drug enforcement task force. LMPD's part of it and tipped off the feds.
It's not just happened over the past few months. We've had a strong relationship with all of our federal partners for an extended period of time, and this is the product of that.
The larger investigation began last February when LMPD had its own investigation here on Lentz Avenue for a non-fatal shooting. As a result of that, officers found 43 guns here in a home. They say 4 of those were stolen, and the ATF added that some of those guns were used in other shootings around the city as well.
The IRS calculated $34.7 million in the criminal operations laundered funds. Jeffersontown police surveilled Mexican grocery stores in the J-Town area for the investigation.
Detectives were doing a lot of work with the IRS in identifying those locations where money was being laundered and sent back to Mexico.
This investigation traced the group back to a leader in the Mexican state of Jalisco.
I think what this overall speaks to is a convergence of where illegal immigration has an effect on public safety.
They credit cooperation for stopping this group with ties to the Sinaloa cartel and the Jalisco New Generation cartel. In Louisville, Ian Hardwick, WHAS 11 on your side.